And again, I can give you a great example. When you go to take the psychology exam, there is a week-long course. You go to whatever city they're in, and you sit down, and all week long they cram every bit of psychology into your head. They always give you that course a week before the test. Because if they give it to you a month before the test, you're not going to know nothing. But you're inundated with it. It flows all over you. You're in the middle of it. And it works pretty well. So, what we want is to get healthy. To get healthy, we want to advance our problem-solving ability and be able to move our stress. We want to be able to move the stress up, move the stress down. Move it up or down to get you into this mid-range to maximize your problem-solving ability. To do that, you have to look at your feelings. To do that, you have to lay it out on a timeline of what happened to you in your life and how did it operate. And then you have to decide, how did I feel when that particular thing happened? Going back and visiting it is scary. But that's the reason we say emotions will not kill you. If they were going to, we'd all be dead.
So, can I say something?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like, while they're here, this is what I experienced and see. Nobody in this room likes sociograms. Nobody. Because you get a bad sociogram, then all of a sudden you're dealt with a feeling or an emotion that normally would have triggered you to either fight, flight, or freeze. You want to go get high, numb it, validate that you're not good enough, you're never going to achieve anything, you're always an addict. But here you're made to face that and deal with it, and so it helps you understand so you can make a different decision about that feeling and not let it trigger you into a negative or a unhealthy pattern as we've dealt with for so long. I remember the sociograms, and the reason I'm bringing it up because I was just thinking about the feelings that you have attached to a negative outsourced situation that you have nothing to do with. And you can make a decision based on that. And I remember, okay, then you take it in and make a decision about yourself. What do I need to change? Or if it's, what do I need to do? And it ain't going to kill me. And then, like you were just talking about, like the fight, flight, or freeze, or what people do these things to validate them. I remember what people are so different, you can't control it, but what I called normal, Chris called chaos, and what Chris called chaos, I called normal, back, it's like that. So I remember all this time I got wrapped right into the pattern, and his pattern became my pattern because it was just a pattern we developed together. And I remember that breaking that pattern, but patterns are so significant to understand, and it's not just the pattern part of it, but the feeling that is attached to that pattern that caused you to stay unhealthy. The trigger is what they call it. Oh, that triggered me. No, it's not that it necessarily triggered you. Triggered an emotion that was attached to something that made you normally want to go do it. And so this is really beautiful about people finding those emotions that cause them to want to. And emotions will not kill you. It took me a long time. I thought that they would just completely, I was just dead. I couldn't deal with it. And now it's like, okay, you can just reflect it, look at it, and deal with it, feel it, and let go of it.
Make a different decision.
And again,
process altogether.
That's what you want to work toward. Work toward, don't be afraid of the feelings, because these things are going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice.
Nope.
You don't get a choice about these things. And if it's spread out like this, then it's like going through life trying to ride a unicycle and juggle chainsaws.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier when you were speaking, it was about an hour ago, something, I got anxiety really, really bad. I don't know what it was triggering. It was triggering something like subconsciously. And of course, tears started flowing, and I was feeling like, oh my gosh, I have a panic attack, and I started shaking. But then I just started breathing like you taught me and brought it down. But I don't know what it brought it on. It wasn't anything you were saying specifically.
Well, but if you can go back and find it,
I'd probably be lost, like just, this is the day I lost my grandfather, and then you said something that reminded me of my mother, who I've lost, and stuff like that, so I'd probably be just lost in general.
well, okay, so there's the event is a loss. So if the event is a loss, what's the feeling?
Sadness.
Say again?
Sadness.
Okay. Sadness. Is the sadness something that you're afraid of or not afraid of?
No, it's the abandonment attached to sadness. The loss of the
I
person.
see, that's not sadness.
Completely.
So there's a sadness, but the sadness triggers a second idea, and that's that I'm abandoned. See, not only has this person died and I'm sad about it, but I'm now abandoned, and abandoned is not a feeling, it's the decision.
It's a decision.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if I decide that I'm abandoned, how do you suppose a person who feels abandoned or who has decided to be abandoned would live?
Either codependent and dependent on drugs and other people, or mainly.
And always expecting
To be abandoned.
them to leave me.
Or creating that atmosphere
Or
so that they
or
will.
creating
So
it
that it does happen, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So that I can then be reinforced that, yes, I can get rid of that relationship and feel abandoned.
And also overcompensating to try and not become abandoned, but within the overcompensation, you create the abandonment.
Exactly. You create that, but if you try to overcompensate, in other words, I become this very giving person so that no one will ever leave me. So I'm going to be this very accommodating. I'm going to do whatever they want. I'm going to say whatever they want. I'm going to be whatever they want. That gets old.
Yeah.
And once it gets old, once you're done with that, then this feeling about that is I'm being used. I'm getting used. And because I'm getting used, I'm going to pay you all.
Oh boy.
That's one pattern. Different pattern could be I just remain a doormat. I just remain somebody else's doormat. A different way. See, again, once you make the decision to be abandoned, you can live in absolute terror of being abandoned. And therefore you freeze, you won't do anything wrong. Or you can fight because you think you're going to be abandoned, and so you want to go ahead and be abandoned in your own time, in your own way. That's what you were talking about. Or I can run. I can say, see you bye. We had a see you bye girl here a while back. And she, every time pressure got up, it was see you bye.
Yeah.
It's gone. So again, you're going to create this. You're going to create this response once you've made the decision. So if I'm to be abandoned, then I'm going to control the pain of being abandoned. But I'm going to get abandoned. There's no question about it. It's going to happen. I'm not going to have this kind of control. I'm going to be always expecting that to happen. Always expecting the outlier to get me.
sometimes the abandonment, like that abandonment's out of anybody's control. You can't control when somebody passes on.
Well, but here's the question, is I can't control that, and because I can't control it, how do I feel about it?
But I thought I had changed to my feeling to God will never abandon me. He's always there. But it's just, I guess this stuff comes up every once in a while. I don't know.
I want to go back to what we're talking about, because the spirituality, when Adam and Eve were in the garden, and what'd they do?
And
What was the name of the tree they ate from?
The tree of life.
No.
Knowledge of
Knowledge of good and evil. The knowledge of good and evil. When they ate of that tree and were driven from the garden, they became flesh. We became flesh. We can seek the spiritual, but we became flesh. We're flesh. And once we became flesh, then the feelings made a difference. Prior to that, we're in the glory of God. I mean, how cool is that? I don't have to worry about nothing. But then all of a sudden, I'm naked. And then all of a sudden,
I've made God mad. Oh Lord, I can't hide. I'm sin. I'm ashamed.
That's right.
I'm ill, all that.
so all of a sudden, the feelings, when I became flesh, the feelings. So when we ask God and seek the spiritual solution, we still got to deal with the flesh.
True.
Still got to deal with the flesh, because that's where we are. That's where we live. That's our wheelhouse, is the flesh. So as you're doing this, that's excellent. I wouldn't ever say not to do that. But what's your feeling? See, if
that I need to change the pattern of feeling abandoned so that I can not repeat the same pattern.
Okay, so sitting here in this place at this time, are you abandoned?
No.
That was a quick answer now.
It's because I've got people around me,
But do you feel not abandoned?
yeah.
Okay. Can you stay with that feeling and do the breathing?
Yes.
Do it now. Now, what would be a word that's different than a not abandoned? What would be the opposite?
Loved.
Can you stay with that feeling?
Yes.
Let it fill you up. What happened?
I calmed down and the pain in my chest stopped. I feel better. I feel surrounded by love.
Say again?
I feel surrounded by love.
And you are. So, if you practiced that 5, 6 times a day, just get off by yourself, I'm loved, and do the breathing, what would happen?
probably wouldn't feel abandoned. I'd feel love surrounding me, whether the people are there or not.
And here's the thing, once you decide, once you let that feeling change, and then you decide how you want to act as a loved person, then what's going to happen to your responses?
They will be positive and not negative.
It'll change.
And what are you going to be able to let go of?
The negative feeling of abandonment.
Works for me.
Right? I just thought I'd put it out there. Cause it was strange, I've never had that happen before. I first went in class and it just, you were talking about regular stuff and I just started, tears started welling up.
Yeah.
God was working something out.
Yep.
Wouldn't that happen?
Good. Good. Any other observations, thoughts, points? So just to reiterate, this is life, this is the events. You can decide whatever you want, you can focus it wherever you want. You can focus your life any way you want to. You can focus it on the positive, the negative, I don't care. You can focus it, I don't care. You can train yourself not to care. I mean, you really can. And then you find ways to help yourself respond in an uncaring way. And when you do that and you do it well and you start to come back, it's like frostbite. It's very tough to come back to feeling again because you think feelings are dangerous. Feelings can't kill you. They can't kill you.
But how you respond to it.
They're just a little biochemical thing happening in your body. They can't kill you. And you can change them, as you just did. I can change this to just using a couple of simple techniques. The breathing is a really good one.
And you know, she doesn't know how to, you don't know the breathing yet.
No,
I was
just
gonna
did-
teach her.
Every new
I just
person
did
should
one
learn.
in and 6 out and one in and 4 out. For a few times.
I use it.
When you catch yourself.
So do I.
Huh?
So do I use it.
Yeah, when you catch yourself stressing out or things get to you to the point to where you're just like either fixing to blow your top or run off or lose your crap or whatever, just you literally, if you just get along and take deep breaths in your nose. It don't work, you go.
Right,
You know
no.
what I'm saying? It don't work.
Doesn't-
I've
that
done
just
it.
makes
You
it
know,
happen.
it's like it.
Actually makes it worse.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's what kills me with the hope. Never mind. I'm not going there.
Well, of course, anybody ever had a panic attack?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
How do you breathe in a panic attack?
Just like she did.
Yeah. So you have to take control of the breathing and relax.
Breathing is key in life.
So again,
I said breathing is key in life.
no, it's
I mean, really, because you can really completely change everything that's going on at the moment if you just stop and breathe.
absolutely. Absolutely. What else you want to talk about? You have a question?